Today's program is the origin of Christmas. What has Jesus Christ got to do with Christmas? I am going to start from something that I had done last year. Sometime last year, I did a program because I do all these seminars. I did a program last year about the origin of days. How the days you have came about. The origin of days. The Greeks named the days of the week after the sun, the moon, and the 5 known planets, which were in turn named after the gods Eris, Hermes, Zeus, Aphrodite, and Cronus. The Greeks called the days of the week Theon Hemerai. You know the meaning of Theon Hemerai? Theon Hemerai means days of the gods, small g gods. Did I tell you when I did the issue of changing Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday, when I did that seminar, I told you people how many gods that the Romans worship. The Romans worshipped too many gods. They still do today. They worship not one god, many, and they are so in love with the gods they worship that they carry the images of the gods and go into their rooms and sleep with them. So the Romans substituted the equivalent god for the Greek gods: Mars, Mercury, Jove, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn. The two pantheons and very similar. Now, the Germanic peoples generally substituted roughly similar gods for the Roman gods. Tyr for Tyr, Woden, Thor, Freya, but did not substitute Saturn. In the Bible, God never mentioned Sunday, Monday. There is nowhere in the Bible from Genesis to Revelation that you find the name of a day. You only find the number of the days. The Bible said God created on the first day, the second day, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and on the seventh day, the Bible says he rested. So as far as God is concerned, days are numbered, not named. The naming of the days began with the Greeks and their Germanic and Roman counterparts. Because they have too many stupid gods they worship, they now termed it Theon Hemerai, which means the days belong to the gods that they worship. So they took the days, split it, and gave the names to the names of the days to their gods. Apart from the one they gave to the sun and the moon, which were the two major lights that God created, the rest of them, 5 of them, were given to their gods. And I'll read it for you right now. Sunday is called the sun's day, the day of the sun. Keep that in mind because we are going somewhere with that. Sunday was named after the sun god. The day of the sun is what is called. Ancient Greek, Hemerai or Helio, day of the sun. Moon's day, that's Monday. Monday was named after the moon. Sunday named after the sun, day of the sun. Monday named after the moon, which is day of the moon. All right? The ancient Greek called that Hemera Selenis, day of the moon. What about Tuesday? Tuesday was named after T-I-U. Tuesday. Tuesday. The Greek, they call it Twia, T-W-I-A, Twia. Okay, so now Tu is the English Germanic god of war. The English Germanic god of war and the sky. He is identified with the Norse god, Tyr, T-Y-R. Norse, that has to do with Norwegians and all. That's where almost all the demons are coming from. The Norse and the Celtic people. These are the people who polluted everything that has to do with Christianity back in the days. The Mars is the Roman god of war. Eris is the Greek god of war. So when you have it in Roman, you have the Greek and you have the Roman version of it at the same time. Okay, so that's two. Remember, keep that in mind. T-I-U, that's the god. Okay. Wednesday was named after Woden, which is Woden's day. And remember, Woden is also named Odin. So O-D-I-N. Now listen, Woden is the chief Anglo-Saxon Teutonic god. Woden is the leader of the wild hunt. Woden is from wood, violently insane. That's the meaning of the Woden. Wood, violently insane. Keep that in mind. He is identified with the Norse god of O-D-I-N. Odin. O-D-I-N. Write it down because we're going somewhere with this. You will see who this Odin is. This is the one that they named Wednesday after him, right? And then Thursday is named after Thor. There is a god called Thor, Thor. So it becomes Thor's Day. That's Thor day, apostrophe. Then you have Thor's Day. That means the day belongs to Thor. The god Thor, write it down on your paper, Thor. We are going to see all these gods as we proceed down, okay? That's the Thursday. Thor is the Norse god of thunder. He is represented as riding a chariot drawn by goats and wielding the hammer Mjolnir. He is the defender of the Aesir, destined to kill and be killed by the Midgard serpent. That is the Thor. What about Freya, which is Friday? Friday is a female god. Friday is female god. What type of god is she? Now, it says Freya or Freya is the Teutonic goddess of love, beauty, and fecundity, which is prolific procreation. You know what somebody is called? They say you are procreating prolifically. Prolific procreation, meaning just sleep and have children anyhow, just produce and reproduce and mass produce sexually. That is prolific procreation. That is the spirit that they named Friday after. Okay? So Saturday, they named after Saturn. Of course, you know the planet Saturn. Saturn's day, that is Saturday. They took the names that God, something that God put numbers on. They came and put names of all the things they worship. Keep in mind, Saturn is coming to meet you somewhere down the line in this program. There is Saturn coming. So Saturn, Saturn, Saturn's day. That's what they named Saturday. Now that you have heard all the names of their gods and seen all these things, let me tell you one thing that you did not know. The journey to why Christmas is so evil and why Christmas has nothing to do with Jesus Christ, it began when, even before, but officially began when Constantine actually changed the worship day, the Sabbath day, from Saturday to Sunday. I have done a full program on this already. But let me tell you, because many of you may not understand, so let me read you the actual declaration that Constantine used to change. It was not spiritual. It was not the gathering of the church. It was Emperor Constantine who used his mouth and made a decree and said, from today, the day of the worship of the sun. And when I read it for you, I will tell you why he made that decree. What happened when he made the decree? Let me read for you the declaration so that you bear that in mind. Now, declaration says this. It said, on the venerable day of the sun, let the magistrates and the people residing in cities rest, and let all workshops be closed. In the country, however, persons engaged in agriculture may freely and lawfully continue their pursuits, because it often happens that another day is not so suitable for grain sowing or for vine planting. Now, this is a decree. Remember the first line he put there, say, on the venerable day of the sun. Do you see why they named the sun after a particular god day? He said it is the sun's day. So he now said on the venerable day. He didn't even say on Sunday. He mentioned it the way it should be. On this venerable day of the sun. On this day of the sun, let the magistrates and people residing in cities rest. Okay, if you think that was not enough, let's go down. There is an encyclopedia. Take it down if you have a pen. It's called Chambers Encyclopedia. Chambers Encyclopedia. In Chambers Encyclopedia, there is something that happened here. Okay, it was what they call the Catholic Church Council of Laodicea. Laodicea is Laodicea. Catholic Church Council of Laodicea. I want you to write it down so you look it up for yourself. In that Council of Laodicea, this was in 364 AD. Remember, Constantine made his own decree on the 7th of March, to be precise. On the 7th of March, AD 321. That was when he made that decree. Now, by AD 364, the Catholic Church Council of Laodicea, by this time, the pagans have already taken over the church. Now, look at what they said. Very blunt. They said, Christians shall not Judaize and be idle on Saturday. And in bracket, they put Sabbath in the encyclopedia. Christians shall not Judaize and be idle on Saturday. In bracket, they put Sabbath. They shall work on that day. You must work on that day. But the Lord's day, they shall especially honor, as being Christians shall, if possible, do no work on that day. If, however, they are found Judaism, they shall be shut out from Christ. Do you know what what these people are saying here? They believe that Jesus Christ rose on a Sunday. So they now say people should not rest on the day God gave as a command that you should rest. That you should rest on the day that they have chosen and called holy. There is no place in the scripture, if you know, please go to comment page and write it, where God or Christ opened his mouth and said, please count this day that I rose, that I resurrected, make it holy and observe it as holy. Please put it in there, because we are all learning. I want to learn from that too. No day. But I will give you several where God said on the seventh day. As I was reading you the days of the week, as they named the days of the week, what was the first day they put, even they themselves? The first day they put there was Sunday. The second day they put there was Monday. Even on their own arrangement. Okay, now, there is no calendar on earth today. Every known calendar, especially of Anglo-Saxon origin, every known calendar, even academic calendars in Africa, in Europe, in America, observe Sunday as the first day of the week. Every calendar still sees Saturday as the seventh day of the week. In fact, the encyclopedia, Catholic encyclopedia here, calls it Sabbath. Go to Exodus chapter 20. God said, on my Sabbath day, keep it holy. But they openly said, you must not do that. Take Sunday that we created. Remember, this is happening some years after they have made a decree and now sanctify Sunday, which is the day they worship their sun God. That's why he calls it the venerable day of the sun. Only by decree of his mouth, he changed the law of God and put it into the laws of man and compelled the whole world to follow that. You see, why the devil? I was asking God, why is it that every time you come back, you meet only one family that is worthy? Every time you come, you meet only one family. And God showed me that what the devil does is that the devil goes very early in time. He creates disobedience and makes it to become a tradition, and then people begin to live with this disobedience as a tradition. As they live with it as a tradition, it becomes very difficult to win them away from that. When you want to tell them don't do this, say, come on, my forefathers did this, how dare you tell me not to do that? Who are you? You were just born yesterday. Because the evil, the disobedience and the sin has become entrenched. It has become a part of the system. That's what ancestral curses do. The devil has seen the destiny of an entire family. He goes way back generations past and signs an agreement with the forefathers. And then you that are born several generations later, you come back and you begin to suffer nonsense that you're not supposed to suffer. Let us go further down, please. Follow me. I've just given you the history because today is not about Sunday to Saturday, that's not the topic for today. The topic for today is Christmas, and we're going there. All right? So, the Christians, now this is, I was going to tell you why Constantine did what he did. Constantine there were a lot of emperors that lived in Rome then, and most of them were wicked to the Christians. They used to kill them and feed them to lions and feed them to animals and blah, blah, blah. And that was how the whole issue of catacombs came up in Rome. And the Christians were hiding in catacombs, were digging it and hiding underground to do fellowship. And when Emperor Constantine came on the scene, many people don't know this, he had an encounter. I think it was a cross or something that he saw, and a voice told him and said, by this you shall conquer. And by that he actually conquered in the war. And he now came and said, look, we have to make Christianity a state religion. He was not fully converted, but we have to make Christianity, it is more appealing. Let's forget about all this other thing. He banned them from worshiping any other thing openly. Stop it, so he told the pagans, all the idol worshippers, to come in, let us come and do it now. This is our state religion. So whatever you're doing, convert it into Christianity, into the Christian version. And so what they did was that they took every single pagan worship, pagan activity, exercise, and renamed them with Christian names. Renamed them with Christian names. They never transformed anything, and I will prove it empirically to you now. They renamed them and still maintained the exercises. So in paganism, How many of you even know paganism? Paganism is not when you hate Christ or when you don't love Christianity. Pagans are people who don't believe in any religion. They believe in worshiping the devil God directly by himself. It is out of paganism that Wiccans came. Wiccan is the umbrella body that binds all the witches together. It is out of paganism that witchcraft came. Witchcraft is tied to paganism. Witchcraft does not exist alone. Witchcraft, the religion of witchcraft is called paganism. So you either say pagan calendar of the year, or you say Wiccan, W-I-C-C-A, Wiccan calendar of the year. Google it. You can see Wiccan or pagan. They are the same, one and the same. Now, in the Wiccan wheel of the year or pagan wheel of the year, they have this thing they call the wheel of the year. You can write it down, please, so you look it up yourself. They have 8 Sabbaths that they observe every year. 8 Sabbaths, 8. I'm going to list the 8 Sabbaths for you. The number 1 and the dates attached to them. Number 1 Sabbath of the Wiccans, of the pagans, of witchcraft, is called Samhain. S-A-M-H-A-I-N. Samhain. And what is the date of this celebration? October 31. That is the date of the Sabbath. The next Sabbath of the witches is called what? Yule. Y-U-L-E. Yule. Do you remember Yuletide? Yuletide? Okay, we're getting somewhere. Okay, so the second one is what is called Yule, and the date of that is what? December 21. It's also called the winter solstice. I'm going to teach you about winter solstice today. The third one is Imbolc, I-M-B-O-L-C. It is February 1. The other one is Ostara. Ostara, O-S-T-A-R-A. It is March 21, spring equinox. All right. The other one is Beltane, B-E-L-T-A-N-E, April 30. All right. The other one is Litha, L-I-T-H-A. It is June 21. That is the opposite of Yule. That is summer solstice. Yule is winter solstice. So the next one again is L-U-G-H-N-A-S-S-A-D-H. August 1. That is that one. Okay. The pronunciation is very funny. And the last one is Mabon, M-A-B-O-N, September 21, fall equinox. So, but we are concerned with just 2 today. We are concerned with Samhain. Samhain is the Sabbath that gave birth to what? To Halloween. Yuletide or Yule is the witchcraft Sabbath that gave birth to what? Christmas. Everybody knows this. History Channel, Wikipedia, everybody, and I'm going to read it for you. This is it. So you see how the truth stares us in the face every day. So look at the Sabbath for the Wiccans, for the witches. Sabbath for the witches, Samhain. So you remember when Constantine did what he did, the progress now began that every single thing that the pagans did, let us repackage them, change the names, the labels on them, and still maintain them. I'll prove it to you. This is history of Halloween. It will shock you. Halloween's origins date back to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, pronounced So-in. The Celts, who lived 2,000 years ago in the area that is now Ireland, the United Kingdom, and northern France, celebrated their new year on November 1. Keep your mind on November 1. Please, November 1. It is a pagan new year. Okay? Pagan new year, November 1. Watch. Now, this day marked the end of summer and the harvest and the beginning of the dark, cold winter, a time of the year that was often associated with human death. Human death. So the Celts believed that on the night before the new year, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead blurred. So on the night of October 31, they celebrated Samhain, when it was believed that the ghosts of the dead returned to earth. So there are 2. This is where the journey begins, okay? There are 2. There is 31, okay? There is October 31 and there is November 1. One gives birth to the other. All of them are occultic pagan holidays. But guess what? Do you know how Christians took over? Christians went and named November 1 and named it All Saints Day. And how many of you listening to me and watching me now know that Halloween originated from Christianity? The witchcraft people who own Halloween, they call it Samhain. The Halloween, the name was given by Christians. Halloween is actually a Christian celebration. Do you know the meaning of Halloween? It is called All Hallows Eve. The eve of all saints, the eve of all saints, All Saints Eve or All Hallows Eve, which also is called Halloween. Check it out. All Hallows Eve. Christians named Halloween. But look what happens in Halloween. By October 31st, they believe that the distance between the spiritual realm, the spiritual world and the physical world, the distance is too tiny that evil spirits can easily walk in and just walk out of this world. They can even move physically. That is what happens on that night. That's why every time you see Halloween, you see the kind of nonsense they wear, the kind of things they do. Do you know, until I went into research, I never knew that Halloween was actually a Christian celebration. So why will Christmas not be a Christian celebration? Okay, so they believe that in Halloween, the souls of the dead will come back and they will come and find a way to their places, to their families. That's why they put candles on the window, so that when the spirits are coming, they will be able to locate and find a way home. Can you believe this? And Christians are involved in this. Now, this is the meaning of Halloween. It says Halloween means All Saints Eve, a celebration observed in a number of countries on 31 October, the eve of the Western Christian feast of All Hallows Day. It begins the 3-day observance of All Hallowtide, the time in the liturgical year dedicated to remembering the dead, including saints, martyrs, and all the faithful departed. You see what they did? They put saints there, they put all the faithful departed, and you know it is a complete occultic festival. In many parts of the world, the Christian religious observance of Halloween's Eve, including attending church services and lighting candles on the graves of the dead, remain popular, although elsewhere it is a more commercial and secular celebration. Some Christians historically abstained from meat on All Hallows Eve. The tradition reflected the eating of certain vegetarian food. This is the same thing that the Celtics were doing. Christians are doing it today. So now you know that Christians actually christened Halloween, which is Samhain. The pagans call it Samhain. We come and say, no. We'll maintain the same date. We'll do the same practice, but we'll change the name and call it All Hallows Eve. So we gave Halloween the name that it has today. The so-called Christians, not me. So let's go down now. So we are coming down. Remember, we are dealing with dates now. We're dealing with 31st of October, which is Halloween. We're dealing with November, which is the pagan New Year that they have christened as what? All Saints Day. So from that moment all the way down to 17th of December, what happens? Do you know what happens on 17th of December? Let me read it for you. One of the best known festivals of ancient Rome was the Saturnalia. Have you heard it? Saturnalia. Saturnalia. This is where the whole thing comes down. Remember when I told you to pay attention to Saturn? They named Saturday after this god, Saturnalia, the god of agriculture. So Saturnalia is a winter festival celebrated on December 17th to December 24th. I'm going to break everything down for you. Please just follow me. Now, because it was a time of wild merrymaking and domestic celebrations, businesses, schools, and law courts were closed so that the public could feast, dance, gamble, and generally enjoy themselves in the merrymaking and all kinds of stuff. So now, on December the 25th, pay attention. All this is happening till 24th. Then on the December 25th, the birthday of Mithra, Mithra. This is the man who owns the birthday that they are celebrating, which they replaced and put Jesus on it. Write it down. That is a god. That's a demonic god. It's called the god of the sun, the god of the unconquerable sun. That is the one god that has a birthday. It is his birthday they celebrate. Why did they choose 25th? You will learn today why they chose 25th. The number one learning is this one. Mithra, the Roman god of the unconquerable sun, the sun god, is having his birthday on December the 25th. Before Christ even came. That's what they were worshiping. So when paganism took over the church, they said, since we have already gotten the day of our worship as the day of the sun, you know, everything is sun. Sun is... So why can't we take the birthday of our sun god and use it for, and call it their own destiny? Okay, so now Mithra was the god of the unconquerable sun, the light between heaven and earth. His birth signified the rebirth of the sun and the eventual end of the long night. During the celebration of his rebirth, all crimes and immorality of any kind is allowed. Homosexuality, cross-dressing, debauchery, and all sorts of perversion became the order of the day. Even children were allowed to indulge. By 270 AD, the Roman Emperor Aurelian had made this revelry official, setting aside December 17 through December 24 for the celebrations, culminating in the exchange of gifts on December the 25th to celebrate the birthday of the sun god Mithra. Now, History Channel was writing on, they said the influence of Saturnalia upon the celebration of Christmas and the New Year has been direct. The fact that Christmas was celebrated on the birthday of the unconquered sun gave the season a solar background, meaning that season has a solar background. It is sun worship that is taking place on the 25th. Sun God birthday. And this is not the only proof I will give to you. I will give you such many more proofs. Just watch. Follow me. Okay, so how did the Romans actually celebrate their own Saturnalia? So they say people decorated their homes with wreath. W-R-E-A-T-H-S. Wreath. Does it sound familiar? They decorated their homes with wreaths and other greenery. Does it sound familiar? Greenery. And shed their traditional togas in favor of colorful clothes known as synthesis. Even slaves did not work during the Saturnalia but were allowed to participate in festivities. It was traditional to offer gifts of imitation fruit. What is imitation fruit? Is a symbol of fertility. It was also traditional to offer dolls. What is doll? Symbolic of the custom of human sacrifice. And candles, which is reminiscent of the bonfires traditionally associated with pagan solstice celebrations. I've mentioned winter solstice twice, and many of you are wondering, what is really the winter solstice? So let me break it down properly. The winter solstice is a time when you have the longest nights in the year and the shortest day of the year. So the longest night, the pagans and the satanic people see that as when the darkness gets to its darkest point. Darkness, just like in every day, you find out that at 12 midnight, darkness begins to pitch, and it gets to the highest peak at 3 a.m. That's why Eminem did a song and called it 3 a.m. Now, at this point in the year is when it's like the 3 a.m. of the year. The darkness goes to highest, deepest part of its darkness. And at that time, the sun, they assume that the sun has died, that the sun is gone. So, because the sun doesn't come out, the darkness just continues going, and the night is so tiny, the day is so tiny, and you don't get to see any sun. It's only night, just very long night. So they say that the sun has died. This is always happening on the 21st of December of every year. The one of this year, 2017, for Lagos, Nigeria, happened on Thursday, 21 December 2017, at exactly 5:28 West African time. That was when the winter solstice happened. For the northern hemisphere, it is December. For the southern hemisphere, it is June. So this one happened, and what happens is that by the 22nd or 23rd, it is assumed that the sun has made a comeback again. And when the sun makes a comeback, it means a rebirth of the sun. For the period that the sun was out, you find out that they are burning logs. They are doing all kinds of witchcraft stuff. There's so many things that they do. At that time, it becomes sober that the sun is dead, that the sun is gone. So, but suddenly, the sun makes a comeback. But instead of the 23rd now, they moved it to the 25th when they said that the celebration of the birthday of their God is going to happen. So, why you think that you are celebrating the birth of the SON of God, the people actually got you to celebrate the birth or the reincarnation of the SUN of their small g God. The Son God, not the Son of God. I know you need a proof, and I will give you more than enough. Let's go to the History Channel's description of Christmas. Pay attention. History Channel is official story. They won't give you too much. But even at that, hear what they said, okay? Politically correct. The Christian holiday of Christmas especially owes many of the traditions to the ancient Roman festival, including the time of year Christmas is celebrated. The Bible does not give a date for Jesus' birth. In fact, some theologians have concluded he was probably born in spring, as suggested by references to shepherds and sheep in the nativity story. But by the 4th century AD, Western Christian churches settled on celebrating Christmas on December 25th. You see, the politically correct thing that they gave you, they said that's what many people were quoting for me. Oh, but we just decided, we settled we are going to do it on that day. So what is the big deal? Well, let me tell you that this is a lie. Before the end of the 4th century, many of the traditions of Saturnalia, including giving gifts, singing, lighting candles, feasting, and merrymaking, had become absorbed by the traditions of Christmas as many of us know them today. Become absorbed. They were not absorbed. They were never even changed. The Christian didn't absorb them. They took them hook, line, and sinker the same way they were and just changed the names. So let me prove it to you. We're going to Yule. Y-U-L-E, the true origin of Christmas. Follow me as I read this to you. Please pay attention. No distraction from anybody. Yule or Yuletide, which is Yuletime, was and is a festival. This is Wikipedia. A festival observed by the historic Germanic peoples. Scholars have connected the celebration of the wild hunt, the god Odin, O-D-I-N. Do you remember why I told you to keep it? They have connected the celebration to the wild hunt, to the god O-D-I-N, Odin, and the pagan Anglo-Saxon Modraneth. It later underwent, listen to this English. You say the festival later underwent Christianized reformulation, resulting in the term Christmastide, which is in English Christmas. It underwent Christianized reformulation, resulting in the term, meaning that they are still having the same thing, but they just changed the term. It is connected to a god, the Odin, a god, the Odin, O-D-I-N, the god after which they named Wednesday. Now, Odin, Wednesday was the god that married Friday. Friday gave birth to Thursday for him. Odin was the chief of all the gods that they worshipped in those days. Odin had so many names, for more than 100 names. You can find it out for yourself. They say they connected your celebration to Odin. And we're going to see the connection now as we go down. Watch, follow me. He said, Yule is also known as Alban Artan and was one of the lesser Sabbats. And was one of what? He said Yule was one of the lesser Sabbats of the Wiccan year, in a time when ancient believers celebrated the rebirth of the sun god and days with more light. This took place annually around the time of December solstice and lasted for 12 days. The lesser Sabbath fall on the solstices and the equinoxes. Did I not show you the Sabbath celebrated by the Wiccans, by the witches? Your Christmas. You know the song that says 12 days of Christmas. Okay, how many of you have celebrated Christmas and you have activities lined up from 25th all the way to January 6th? But you have a song that says 12 days of Christmas. Here, they said the December solstice and it lasted for 12 days. And the pagans still celebrate their own. As I'm talking to you right now, they make sacrifices every day until January 6th. But you have already finished your celebration. So, and the song they sang was for their celebration. It is 12 days in their own calendar. It is supposed to last for 12 days. They moved it from the 23rd when the sun made a comeback, moved it to 25th. So from the 25th for 12 days is when? January 6th. Up till now, they are still celebrating. They are not done until January 6th, but you're already done. So what are you celebrating? Go to Google and Google pagan Christmas or Father of Yule. We are coming. So present day Christmas customs and traditions such as the Yule log. You know Yule log. Most of you in America know that. Yule log. You have Yule goat. You have Yule boar. You have Yule singing. And you have others. They say they stem from the pagan Yule. Today the event is celebrated in heathenry and some other forms of modern paganism. The same event you celebrate is celebrated in heathenry and in other forms of modern paganism. Can you believe this? It is out there for you. Look it up. As a means of honoring the pagan sex and fertility god Yule, a 12th day, this is it again, coming again from another different research book, a 12-day celebration during the month of December was inaugurated. A 12th day, 12. That's why you have 12 days of Christmas. And yet you don't celebrate 12 days. You don't do Christmas for 12 days. A 12-day celebration during the month of December was inaugurated. A large log representing a phallus, like a male organ, was set on fire and kept burning for 12 days. 12 days. These are the people who are celebrating the real thing. They own it. That's the celebration. It has nothing to do with me and you. And they do it properly. They do it well. They set the log burning for 12 whole days. Now look at here. He said the Feast of Yule was a pre-Christian festival observed in Scandinavia at the time of December solstice. The same thing I told you, December solstice. He said fires were lit to symbolize the heat, light, and the life-giving properties of the returning sun. Returning sun. It is the sun. Everything is all about the sun. Christmas is referred to as Yule, which is derived from the Norse word Jul, referring to the pre-Christian winter solstice festival. Yule, Christmas Day, Christmas is referred to as Yule. So we are going to find out who the Yule father is, because Yule has a father. You now found out today that Yule is Christmas. That's why every media house you see today during Christmas season, you see them saying the Yuletide season, Yuletide, and you're wondering what is Yuletide? Yuletide. Oh, this Yuletide season. Where's the Yule from? Yule is the very exact word used in the witches' calendar as a Sabbath. And you have even Christmas songs that contain Yule in them. If I lie, please go to the comment page and say you are lying. This is the proof. And we're celebrating it with them. That's why I have a video, I think I may upload it much later, where the witches were laughing at us. In fact, the witch girl said, one of the witches said that the only thing Christian about Christmas is the name. He said when they celebrate Christmas, they are doing double celebration, because they celebrate the Christmas and still celebrate their own. So that is the same for them. It means nothing. That is the same thing. That every single thing in Christmas. So they encourage the members to go ahead and celebrate Christmas. You will soon see all the materials they used to do their own Christmas, and tell me what is the difference. All the amulets and the goat that you put in front of you, the pine tree you put there. What is the origin of the pine tree? What about the holly? What about the mistletoes? Where do you get all these things from? It is what the pagans use. It is there in the calendar. I'm going to give you a website to go to. You see where they're advising them on how to celebrate. The same thing they tell them to bring is what you used to do Christmas. My Jesus was not born on the 25th of December. And nobody under the influence of the Holy Ghost chose that date. And I will prove to you why it is a satanic arrangement to choose that date. I will show you. Stay with me. Another tradition of Yule was bringing in various plants to guard the life essence. Listen, they bring in various plants to guard the life essence in their home. They bring it into their home. This was a form of sympathetic magic, bringing those plants into your home. A form of sympathetic magic in which practitioners believed they could harness the life force for themselves. Some of the plants that were brought into the home included evergreen boughs, holly, ivy, birch boughs, and mistletoe. Mistletoe. The evil one that they go and you come under it and you kiss your lover under it. Mistletoe. This is what they gave them as instruction. As instruction. Now, the same Christmas you are talking about that you say your Jesus was born on. Do you know how many of you listening to me now and watching me know that Christmas was banned, severally banned until much recently? How many know that Christmas was banned in America, in Europe? Can I give you the information? By the 7th century, Pope Gregory I ordered Augustina of Canterbury to incorporate any and all pagan practices and customs in the expanding Roman Catholic Church. The most outstanding of the pagan practices was Saturnalia, was incorporated into the church. 7th century Pope Gregory, I'm giving you names so you can go and search. Saturnalia incorporated into the Catholic Church. It was celebrated with open sexual intercourse on the streets. This was the original celebration of Christmas, how it was being celebrated. They will have sex on the street. Heavy drinking and all manners of immoral activities, rioting, murder, and number of druidic Halloween rituals. This is Saturnalia, the same thing giving rise to Christmas. Now, he said things got out of hand that by 1652, following the execution of King Charles I, Christ's Mass, they used to call it Christ's Mass, was finally outlawed in England through the efforts of the Puritans led by Oliver Cromwell. They outlawed it. Now, the appointment of King Charles II eventually brought about the same monarchy and the Christ Mass again. People started protesting. No, 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 no. Give us, legalize the Christmas for us. Give it to us, because they know that there's a lot of revelry in it. They used to do all kinds of nonsense. They say, give it back. They gave back to them. They did their best, but by 1656, just 4 short years, the public demand for legalization of Christ Mass became overwhelming. And the appointment of the king restored it back to them. Amazingly, in 1659, the colonies in America, the Puritans equally outlawed Christmas. Said, no, we don't want it. In America, and declared that anyone who is caught indulging in the celebration of Christmas, they will fine you. You will pay 5 shillings. You can imagine how much that money was by then. These are all recorded. Please go and check your history. They say if they catch you celebrating Christmas, because these were the godly ones, the ones who were the elect of God, the real Christians. They'll call them the Puritans. They say, no, 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 this is so evil. We can't take it. If we catch you, you pay. That is it. So by 1712, I think it was Reverend Martha or so. Let me tell you what she said. She said, can you in your conscience think that your holy Savior is honored by hard drinking, lewd reveling, and by a mass only fit for nothing but Bacchus and Saturn? So how can you think that by all this sexual immorality and the drinking and all this nonsense you do, that is how you can celebrate your own Savior? This thing you're doing is only fit for people, gods, wicked gods like Saturn or Bacchus. That was what the Reverend said. Those are part of the Puritans who outlawed it. I said, this cannot have anything to do with God. This belongs to the Saturn. It belongs to Bacchus. By the 19th century, the ban on Christmas still held in America. It was an Englishman, again, who left England. You see wickedness, and went to America. His name is Charles Dickens. By 1843, he used Christmas Carol to win Americans over to love Christmas again. Now, people who say that they sat down and chose the date of Christmas as 25th, let me give you another bombshell that will shake the foundations of your knowledge today.